Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are reviewing Bleach. Yes, the original Bleach, not the new Thousand Blood War arc. I haven't started that yet. My original aim was actually to finish Bleach before that came out. And yeah, I tried, but I just couldn't do it. It took me like at least, well, I think we're 10 episodes. Well, we're 10 episodes into the new Thousand Blood War arc, so about 10 weeks too late from when I intended to finish it. But I finished it and I thought, why not review it? Anyway, let's get straight into my expectations for Bleach. Obviously, I was expecting Bleach to be top tier considering it's one of the big three, Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. I've seen Naruto. I don't know if I'll ever watch One Piece, it's just too long, but Bleach, I was expecting it to be on a level with Naruto. And from everything I heard, it seems like some people prefer Bleach, some people prefer Naruto, but the general consensus around both is that they're like really, really good. But yeah, I was expecting a top class, iconic, right up there with my favorites. And Naruto is one of my favorites. So let's get into 5 reasons why you should watch Bleach. So, reason number one is the characters are top tier. Like compared to most anime, these are probably some of the best characters I've seen. At least like I compare it to Naruto mainly because Naruto and Bleach are kind of like side by side comparisons. I just think I would say Bleach have a better all round cast of characters. I think some of the best characters I've seen in anime are in this anime. Second reason is it's an interesting and unique concept. It's not like very similar to Naruto and Hunter x Hunter and all these other anime Jujutsu Kaisen. Although they're different, they're all kind of very similar in the way they're set out. I think Bleach has quite a unique storyline and unique concept with the whole Soul Reaper thing. Three, definitely some of the best fights I've ever seen in anime. I mean, Naruto is up there. I know I keep comparing it to Naruto, but that's the benchmark I use. Yeah, the fights are just insane throughout pretty much the entire thing. Some of the best fights I've seen in any anime I've watched. And four, for reason four is just iconic. It's one of the big three, like I said. You might as well watch it just for the name alone, in my opinion. And then five, the soundtrack is insane. I mean, a lot of animes these days have really crazy soundtracks, but Bleach, for how old it is, I mean, it has a really good soundtrack. Okay, let's get into 5 reasons why you may not want to watch Bleach. Reason one, and I think it's the biggest reason why most people do not watch it, is the amount of filler is crazy. It's like 45% filler or something like that. There's literally like 3 or 4 huge filler arcs, and nobody really likes filler. If you're gonna watch it, my advice would be to skip it anyway. I watched the first few filler arcs. I watched the Bound arc, which is so long. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, the filler's just so long. Everyone told me to skip the filler. I would now also recommend if you're gonna watch it, you skip the filler. But that is one reason you might want to avoid it, because especially if you have like weird ADHD and you want to watch every episode, it might break you down slowly but surely. Reason two is there's a lot of plot armor and even some plot holes. I mean, most things have plot holes, but Bleach has so much plot armor for certain characters. The main protagonist Ichigo has so much plot armor. It's crazy. If somebody finds that irritating, then maybe you don't want to watch it. Three, the animation is dated, obviously, because it's really old. It came out in like 2006. It's old. It's like in 480p. It doesn't even fit your screen. Like it's the animation is pretty bad. I know a lot of people are fucking sticklers for animation, bro. Not me. I don't really notice when animation is really good or bad. Like for me, I didn't even notice that Attack on Titan switched animation studios midway through. I'm not gonna lie. I do notice sometimes when it's really good, for example, Demon Slayer. But Bleach is noticeably bad at the start. It does get better as it goes along, but if you're someone who doesn't want to watch like old style quality, then maybe you should avoid it. Reason four is there's quite a lack of character development in my opinion. All the characters, I mean, there are time skips. They get older, but that's about it. They're all pretty much the same character as when it starts. And reason five, certain characters get sidelined. Certain main characters who play a big role kind of throughout get sidelined. And also a lot of characters don't get enough screen time. Because there's so many, it's hard for them all to like obviously be developed or be used. And I think a lot of the best characters don't really get used, and some of the main characters kind of get benched like sort of midway through. We're gonna get into spoilers at this point, so if you don't want any spoilers, then you should click off now. But let's talk about the first arc, which is where Ichigo becomes a Soul Reaper. To me, I was really struggling through that. It was kind of boring to me. The first 20 episodes is not the greatest intro to an anime I've ever seen. For me, I was watching it and I was like, is this what everyone's been telling me is really good? It does heat up towards the end when like Byakuya comes to save Rukia or get Rukia back, and then Renji gets clapped by Ichigo, which makes again no sense. That's one of the plot holes and the plot armor I don't understand is Ichigo's been like a Soul Reaper for a month, and Renji's a lieutenant, but Ichigo beats him straight away. There's not too much to say about that, really, then. It's a bit slow, and I would give it more of a chance than just watching the first 20 episodes. Anyway, let's talk about the Soul Society arc. For me, the Soul Society arc is one of the greatest anime arcs I've seen. I'm not gonna lie. It was really good. Yes, there's some plot armor with him literally keep fighting and he learns Bunkai in like 2 days, but all the fights are just insane. The storyline is insane. For me, it's one of the best arcs I've ever seen. And then it obviously introduces all the captains who are some of the coolest characters. You get to see like Ichigo fight like Kenpachi. You get to see Ishida fight like Mayuri. You get to see Chad fight Shunsui, which, I mean, he got clapped, but as to be expected. But it's just cool to see all the new characters. The storyline was cool. You get to see Aizen get introduced as a villain, which was really good. I mean, it literally got everything. Like, it's got great fights. The pacing is also insane at this point. Like, the pacing is good. You'll be getting through these episodes and not realizing you're getting through them. Moving on, I'll talk briefly about the first filler arc, the Bound arc. Don't watch it, really and truly. The only benefit you get from watching the Bound arc is getting introduced to who the bounce sensors are, because they are in some of the episodes after, and you might be confused who they are. But yeah, apart from that, it's pretty boring. Like, there's so many things wrong with it. I think the end of it's actually quite interesting when they finally go to Soul Society and start fighting them. That was pretty cool. But apart from that, it's just such a long build up for no reason. Like, the build up is crazy. It's like 65 episodes, and you don't even need 55 of them. They could have done it in 10 episodes and it would have been way better. I would say just skip that arc. Not worth watching. The next canon arc is the Arrancar arc, where they introduce us to some more cool characters. They introduce some of the main villains, and you get to see what Aizen was doing. It's not nowhere near as good as the Soul Society arc for sure, but shit's all over the Bound arc, obviously. It's a nice introduction arc to what's coming, but I wouldn't say it was top tier. It was just good. Also, you get to introduce to like the Visored, and you get the concept explained to you. And in anime, when they have to explain concepts to you, it's never the most entertaining, but obviously it's important for development. The next arc, the Hueco Mundo arc. Now, I have some strong opinions on this. I just think it's literally a rehash of the first arc. Literally, they go to save Rukia in the Soul Society arc. In this one, they just go to save Inoue. And it's like, bro, you're doing the exact same thing. It's literally the exact same arc with pretty much the exact same characters, just fighting Espada instead of captains this time. Also, this is the point in the anime where Inoue really started to grind my gears. In this part, she really pissed me off, and she was one of my least favorite characters throughout this whole bit. You know, she just becomes useless pretty much, and useless characters, I can't deal with that. But I will say the fights in this arc are pretty good. You get to see Ichigo vs Grimjaw, which some people say that's one of the best fights in the anime. I'm not the biggest fan of Grimjaw like some people are. I don't think he's not my favorite Espada. Maybe he's like third or fourth, but he's definitely not my favorite. But you also get introduced to some really other annoying characters like Nell and her two goons, bro. Those three are extremely annoying. The child version of Nell is extremely fucking annoying. It's right up there with that Don Kanoji guy. It's my most hated character. Maybe with Amida as well. Those three are terrible. We'll talk about that in the Bleach. We'll talk about that in the Bleach tier list. But yeah, the Hueco Mundo arc is pretty good. I think it finishes off it's split into two parts if I remember correctly. You have the first part, then you have the back in time little arc, and then it goes back to where I think it ends with Ukiura vs Ichigo, which is one of the best fights. I'll talk about that in a minute. After that, or in the middle, you have an Amagai filler arc, which I watched again, just too long for no reason. It focuses on boring characters like Kira. No one cares about him. You know what I mean? I mean, it was kind of cool to see another new captain. The fight, you get to see Yamamoto kind of fight, but his power gets nerfed, and it's like, it was okay. Again, I wouldn't say it was worth watching, and that was the last fucking filler arc I watched. Then you have a little arc in between the Hueco Mundo arc, which is the time skip, or the time going back in time, where you get to see how Urahara became a captain, and you get to see like Yuroichi as a captain. That was pretty cool, and you get to see Aizen how he manipulated and created the visor. That for me was one of the best arcs too. It was short, but it was really interesting. You know what I mean? And it was imperative to the backstory for later, because the visor just kind of appeared from nowhere, and they didn't really explain how it happened. But I think that was a vital arc. After that, like I said before, you have the Hueco Mundo arc part 2. Again, that's where Ukiura vs Ichigo kind of ends, I think, right? And that's split between Ichigo vs Ukiura, which for me is one of the best fights. When Ichigo goes full like hollow mode, it's one of the coolest things I've seen in the anime, but they never bring it back, nor do they explain why it happened really. But it was cool. I'll say that it was cool to see that. Obviously, you get to see like Kenpachi Visa, the like the eighth sword guy. I don't know what he was called, but that Espada was extremely annoying. You get to see Byakuya just clap that guy with all the arms as well, which was cool. You get to see Mayuri vs the pink head guy. It's basically they were fighting the Espada version of themselves pretty much throughout. All those fights were pretty good. Like I said, the fights were insane. Anyway, now we get to the best arc in the anime. I mean, I think the Soul Society arc rivals it, but the Aizen arc where he comes back to Karakura town to take it over, and you get to see literally full on fighting for about I don't know how many episodes it is, but it's really good. First and foremost, the lieutenants take on like the shitty Espada. Then you get to see Captain's fight, which was cool. Like, you got to see the Fox guy fight. I can't for some reason I forgot Komamura. You get to see him fight, which was cool. He has a cool bunkai. You get to see Shunsui finally fight. Ukitake just kind of sits there. You don't really get to see him, but you get to see Soifon, which was You get to actually see Yamamoto do something for once, which was cool. You get to see Toshiro fight. I mean, he fought quite a few times, but seeing the captains fight is the best part of Bleach, in my opinion. Seeing all their abilities, seeing the 1v1 people is awesome. And their Spada also had really great abilities as well. So it was awesome to see that. And then towards the end, you obviously get to see the Prime Espadas all fight, which was cool. But then you get to see Aizen literally beat everyone. And he literally beats everyone. The one thing that was annoying is we didn't really get to see Yamamoto at full power. Like, he always seems to get, like, nerfed right at the moment or like countered. Like Aizen made a hard counter for him so he couldn't fight, and he still won. And then you have Gin's betrayal, which was also you didn't see that coming. You see Ichigo's dad is a Soul Reaper, or he finally finds out because they show you his dad is a Soul Reaper earlier in the anime. That was also insane. I'm probably missing out a lot of stuff, but this arc was top tier. Like I can't lie, it was one of my favorites. Just seeing all the fighting, seeing all the characters just like beat the shit out of each other was awesome. Aizen just kind of fucked them all up though. I don't know how I feel about Aizen in terms of how I would rank him on the tier list. I'll have to wait till I make the tier list, but I don't feel like they really do any development in Aizen. You don't really get to see too much from him except when he just becomes super powerful and fights. And then obviously the climax of the anime. To be fair, it's the climax of the anime, the first part where Aizen beats Ichigo and Ichigo goes like full on Zangetsu mode or whatever they call it. He like just takes the form of his of get what is it Zangetsu? No, he doesn't take the form of Zangetsu. He takes the form of Getsuga or whatever. His fucking Getsuga Tencho, whatever that is. That's the form of it. I don't know how to explain it, but that fight was really cool. And then he loses his Soul Reaper powers, which takes us on to the final arc, which to me was literally a filler arc. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's some filler arcs mixed in here that I didn't watch, so I won't be talking about those. But the final arc, the Fullbring arc, it's okay. Like, again, it's just too long. Like, there's no need for it to be like 30 episodes or whatever it is, because like the whole build up is so boring. It reminds me a bit of the Bound arc, but just in canon. It's really boring. The Fullbring powers aren't exactly exciting. Most of the first bit is them convincing him to join them, and then he learns Fullbring in like some stupid amount of time, and then they just do the ultimate betrayal and take his powers away. And like the characters were okay. Like I'm like the two main villains, for some reason their names escape me. Tsukishima, I think, is the one guy with the sword, and then Ginjo, yeah, Ginjo and Tsukishima. They're cool, but the rest of the characters are kind of irrelevant. And then they all fight the captains at the end, and they just get absolutely ruined. Like none of them even put up half a good fight, except Ginjo. You know what I mean? Like the captains just shit all over. And then I'm assuming we'll never ever see them again. Like not all of them died. They just let some of them go. But I'm assuming you'll never ever hear from them again. Which is like, bro, why did we do that? Why were they even there in the first place? That probably came across very scattered, but it is what it is. That's my Bleach review, ladies and gentlemen. Putting it all together, what would I rate Bleach? Yeah, Bleach is that good. I would rate it not quite as high as Naruto. Obviously, the Thousand Blood War arc can change things. You know what I mean? But if we were comparing original Naruto to it, and even Shippuden, I preferred to Bleach, I would say, but not by much. Like I think they're very very close in rating. I rate Naruto a solid 9 point something out of 10. I would give Bleach probably a 9 out of 10. It's somewhere for me around the Hunter x Hunter arc, around the Hunter x Hunter rating. I think they're both on par. I think they're both really good. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think of Bleach in the comments below. That is all I got for you today. I'll see you all next time.